Nation, we're going around the horn. We're still doing what we do in the new normal, and we've gone across the pond this morning to Phelim Row. Phelim, hello. Good afternoon for you.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good, good. I'll tell you what, let's with this monthly check-in, let's go a different direction, maybe two topics. One is, let's talk about what's next. And I'll try to set the table, but I think you'll have more contributions than I. And then I also want to talk about your online targeted managed security services forums, that your geo-targeting. That's very interesting for me in an online world. So we'll get to that. But Phelim, I'll start the conversation. I Zoom bombed the New York Small Business Server Group meeting the other night, the SBS group. They still meet, and God bless them. Of course, the topic is not so much SBS, but it was interesting. So these are the real, people doing the real work, carrying the bag. And a couple of them were observing, while they of course had the surge with clients with remote work, now it's starting to slow down. And literally the topic of the meeting is, what's next, guys? What are we going to do? And Phelim, I didn't have an answer at the time, and I was just a mere guest, but I thought about it, and I thought about some work I'm doing with a not-for-profit, the National Christina Foundation, to donate literally 6 dusty laptops for my mini storage. They get refurbished. They're deployed to underserved families for online education, right? So those 6 laptops are going to go in my region to needy families who have kids learning online, and all good. Got me thinking, the educational vertical known as EDU might be what's next, and I'm gonna throw that. Why don't you grab what I'm throwing?
Yeah.
There, you got it.
I got it. I noticed it was an American football I caught, Yeah, I think perhaps, MSPs founded by business people who are looking for opportunities. They're not security purists like the world of MSS. So they can take it in a number of different directions. Why not education? If they're in the habit of bundling backup and disaster recovery, why not some sort of education, given that every company now, has home working employees? You need to train those employees, but then why not let those employees have a facility for their family even? Which is an interesting problem for those that don't want to fall back to the break-fix model. So they're going to have to find a way of staying on the managed service side whilst providing constant training or updates. And why not? Even a few years ago, people were loath to pay for online training. And perhaps some of the big universities, you probably know the sites I'm talking about, put out free, amazing courses.
Oh, they do. Yeah, you don't have to pay anymore.
You don't have to pay. You have to pay to get a certificate. And of course, there's always that little, good school boy or girl inside of us that likes the certificate. Of course, there's that inside all of us. But
I've got them on the wall over here, my friend.
There you go. There you go. It feels nice, doesn't it? But I think we need to readdress training needs away from compliance. In a corporate context, they go, back in the day, everybody needs to know about Microsoft Excel. So everybody's going on really hardcore Microsoft Excel macro training, and people don't need it, right? Or some people do, some people don't. So if you're right, and why not? It's a great angle to look at. We can move it to the on-demand training for the thing that you need to solve right now. Like me, I didn't know enough about SSL certificates for websites. So I had to go and learn that. I was greatly motivated to learn that. But if I said, hey, Harry, right, go on an SSL course right now, and you don't need it, I don't know. So you might be onto something there. I've just sort of run with that topic.
Yeah. Let me take it a different direction. Then I want to talk about your events. I get it, and here's what I'm doing, right? So what is Harry doing in a pandemic? So what I'm doing is trying to dramatically improve my presence on YouTube, and I have a coach. Kevin Hunter, who traffics north of 1 million views on a regular basis, because his niche is automobile dealerships, right? So he has the videos on the 13 ways to beat the finance manager at an automobile dealership, or 7 ways not to get ripped off by the car salesman, those kind of things. And not surprisingly, he is north of 1 million on many of the views. I just looked this morning, he posted one up 3 hours ago. It's already over 14,000 views, right? So he nailed it. And my point is this: you're talking about Excel, you're talking about SSL, and so on. Educate, the data doesn't lie, okay? So when you put up a topic that's a miss, you're going to have low viewership, right? The data doesn't lie. When you put up a topic that's a hit, you're going to have high viewership. And I think that's the takeaway I have from my relationship with Kevin, my coach. And I'm a fan of education. You know, I've been a trainer and I'm a fan, and it's just getting me to think again about, what do people want to learn more than what do I want to say? and I think, you know, it's a reset for me, right? I gotta get that in my head. It's a reset. And maybe the final word on education is, I always say this, but it has always been the highest ROI from an investment point of view for a professional.
Me, what's some of the best courses I ever went on? I was 13. I needed something to do in the summer. My mom said, right, you're going to go to stenography classes to learn how to type. So me, 13-year-old, sat down with clunky typewriters, but as a result, I got really, really efficient. And I'm thinking, actually, that's probably one of the best courses I ever went on.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, let's talk about your I'm looking at the screen too, Managed Security Services Forum. We have Albuquerque on the 28th of May. So folks, by the time you view this, you might want to pop over real quick and do that, but probably more realistically would be LA County on June 30th, and then the 4th annual Cyber Physical Conversion Forum, London, on June 11th. Let's talk about, again, we'll pick on Albuquerque, but what's going on? What is this online event, and why do you geo target with an online event? That's very interesting to me.
So, you know, the series that I put on, I try to look at the UK, Netherlands, Germany, and the States. And even though it's digital, people still want a community feel. And actually, if you are a sponsor and you decide that New Mexico is the next big thing, you want to target New Mexico. You don't want to simply say it's a thing about stuff. I mean, that's not appealing. So this really has proven really, really useful. Plus, you know, our supporters are very, very keen to keep that geographical focus. Don't get me wrong, I did a couple, and you very kindly sat in on one of the first ones where we said, right, is this pandemic the best of times or the worst of times for the MSS? So we do some across the spectrum, but there's still room for local events, and it just works. I'm even now going to do something very specific in Europe. You know, Antwerp and Amsterdam, 2 separate locations, but 2 separate communities. People enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree. And we use Meetup.com because Meetup.com does use geolocation, right? So when I created it, long story, but in order to do some writing, I created a meetup group for Seattle cannabis technology, infrastructure, and cloud, right? And Seattle's got a big community in this area. I did it as a joke. I paid the $23. I needed some screenshots. I forgot about it. Came back and 68 people had joined from the Seattle area because Meetup is a very strong search tool. One might search on the word technology and all these Meetup groups appear. Now, that is for Seattle. So if I want to do one for Denver, which again would be a natural act, probably another $23 a month, probably going to get 100 people to sign up. But what we're seeing is that could be a secret sauce for an MSP or a service provider because people are searching on Meetup.com for something of interest. And if you were an MSP and you put on a security event for customers, customer-facing security event, you might get 100 people, and bada bing, bada boom, there's your leads. So
you give me an idea.
Yeah, no, I applaud. I never thought of Meetup as such a strong search engine, but the new normal is got me thinking all sorts of things. So, any event, I plan to Zoom bomb or pop in on the 28th for your Albuquerque event again. I love the work you're doing. And we'll put the URL down below, folks. So we're talking Albuquerque, May 28th, and your fee is very reasonable, thank you. I'm reading $49.50 US. So I like that too. I like the fact you charge because you get skin in the game. And
exactly.
A couple comments on that, please.
Yeah, people need this. Well, first of all, it is valuable. It is. Second of all, if people do commit if they have spent a little bit, and also, of course, I want the best event, so I'm going to probably guest a few strategic people because I'm like you are the person. I need you right now. If I was to say, dear strategic person, I need you at my event, and I'm going to give you a $2,000 guest pass for free, that's a problem. In some other respects, right? There's a problem, but $50, it's not so unfair, and everybody would be like, well, yes, of course, that person needs to be there. They are the person. I know I'm talking a bit cryptically, but I think that's a better model than to rock up and have one person paying $2,000 and everyone else for free. That's just not fair. So, yeah.
No, and I appreciate you charging. I'm charging for my online event. Carl Palachek charges. We need to stick together on that because it devalues the entire channel, for lack of a better word. But if we have a couple people doing the free thing, I don't like it. We all need to stick. Come on, man, I got to make a living, and I'm doing good work.
Would you go to a trainer with 20, 30 years experience? The physical event, he charges $10,000, but now he's giving you this thing for free. Well, something's going wrong. Either it's not worth 10 grand, or it's not right. And this digital world enables us to really level the playing field.
Yeah, and I happily pay for online events, right? I practice what I preach. But with that said, hey, loving that new green screen, my friend.
I know if this was Zoom, I'd have my virtual background on.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, well, this is a physical background.
That is a nice background. Well, top tip. On Zoom and those platforms, it says, I don't have a green screen, choose a virtual green screen. But you can do that, but that with a green screen really works even better. Just top tip.
Yeah, no, I've done a little, I use a blue screen, but same concept. You do a color extraction based on a hex value, and then you can put a photo in Camtasia. I tend to do this post-production. So, all of a sudden I have a view of the Seattle waterfront. Much like TV, right? TV's all green and blue screens, and they just extract it and put an image in. But hey, man, I got to go fill my coffee. Sir, thank you very much. And we will see you in Albuquerque next week. I'm excited.
Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks.